Verbal on life.
Welcome and thank you for joining us. In this episode, we're going to talk about a mother in Chicago that got into an argument with a man and her son had to come in and help her. It's a crazy story all over the internet. So we're going to take a look at it and then we're going to talk about it. But welcome to Verbal on Life. My name is Noel.
And I'm Jay Smith.
All right, so we're going to take a look. And it's a pretty tough case. Hard to decide. I'm going to first show you the incident and then the news report. All right. We're not going to show any violence because YouTube doesn't allow any violence. So we're not going to show that. But just give you the report that's out there in the news. Okay.
And guys, remember, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and enjoy the content that we're going to keep delivering to you.
So this is what happened.
Take a look.
Get your food! Who? Get the gun!
Hey,
Get your food! Get your food! If you say one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out. Oh my God, say one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out.
Yeah, and then he.
That was tough. That was from the Black Conservative. His channel is a pretty good channel. I do recommend you take a look. But just looking at that incident, my opinion is that if you're arguing with a man, if you're a woman, like if it's a man on man, it's a fight. But if it's a woman against a man, personally, I think she should have walked out. What you think, Jay?
I mean, look, I see a problem on both sides. The first problem is what you're saying. I think that women should not engage men in this manner. We always say, men shouldn't hit women, men shouldn't hit women, which I agree with 100%. Men should not touch women. But as a woman, if you engage men in that manner, you are going to eventually find the right one. And she found the right one. And what happened?
All right, so it was crazy. Now, let me show you the police report of what happened from that engagement. Because they did end up hitting each other, but we're not going to show it on this video.
I do want to point out, even though it's wrong, the fact that she as a woman was willing to engage a man like that, and a man that's bigger and stronger than her at that, I think that he's wrong. He should never have went to that level. I would never start argue with a woman about whatever and just attack her or let her know that I'm going to be violent towards her. I think he's out of line.
So the news went all over the internet, but take a look at the details.
Folds in court. A mother accused of ordering her son to commit murder in a West Pullman restaurant. The mother and son are now charged, both of them. Elizabeth Matthews joins us now with more on this developing story. Elizabeth?
Yeah, not only that, mom, who's accused of giving those shoot-to-kill orders, is now being held on $3 million bail.
Whoa.
Parts of that shooting were actually captured on this restaurant's surveillance video, which helped the witnesses identify the suspects to police.
I find it interesting, that they're saying, obviously, allegedly, she gave the order for her son to shoot the guy and kill him. If that was the case, this is... I don't know where to go with this.
She seemed brave enough to continue to argue with the guy. And then her son, which happened to be outside in the car, came out the car and saw what was happening. And guess what? She actually had a gun because she was licensed to carry. The boy happened to have the gun. He came in there with the gun. Oh my God. And ended up shooting the guy. This is what it's all about. Yeah.
So now it's another example of a lawful gun owner using a gun to kill somebody. So again, the narrative that gun violence happened because of mental health issues is false. This woman doesn't have mental health issues. Her son doesn't have mental health issues. They ran into a situation, and guess what? The reason she didn't back down from that man and she was so ready to confront him is because she knew that she had a gun in the car. And she's like, I'm going to confront this guy because if I have to, I'm going to shoot him. And look what happened. If she wouldn't have had a gun, she would have probably not been brave enough to confront him in that manner. She would have probably walked away. But she had a gun, and this is where the incident ended up.
Take a look.
So this all happened Sunday night, police tell us, just after 11 o'clock, about 11:05 p.m. 35-year-old Carlisha Hood and her 14-year-old son arrived at the Maxwell Street restaurant on South Halstead at 117th. Hood went in for food. Her son waited in the car. Prosecutors say that's when she began arguing with this man, 32-year-old Jeremy Brown, who was also inside ordering food at the time. Hood began texting her son, who appeared in the doorway, hands in his...
By the way, allegedly texting her son, because how was it possible for her to be texting if she's in the middle of a fight? So I don't know how conclusive that was, that she actually texted him.
Pockets. A fight became physical between Hood and the victim. The victim was able to punch the woman once. That's when prosecutors say the boy pulled out a gun, fired a single shot to the victim's back, followed him outside, kept firing, striking him fatally twice in the back.
Once outside of the restaurant, while the co-defendant
Listen,
was still shooting at the
pause
victim,
this right quick.
the defendant-
I'm going to tell you right now, the first shot in the back, he punched his mom's in the face, that was good. But once the guy ran out and he chased him and kept shooting him in the back when the guy is obviously no longer a threat and hurt, I think that's a problem.
And what do you think should have happened in terms of the law? Like, just as a citizen, looking at this story, see, that's the mother right there. They both got charged with murder. They both went to jail, but charges got dropped.
Minor, the teen boy also facing unlawful use.
Was the charges dropped for both of them?
Take a look. Because you know what? That boy, he's 14. The poor guy. Oh, look.
State's attorneys dropping charges against Carlisha Hood and her 14-year-old son. Remember, Hood was accused of encouraging her son to shoot a man, but video that recently surfaced.
Now, I'll tell you what, listen, if she encouraged him to keep shooting or to smoke him, as I heard, I don't know how the charges were dropped, but it is what it is.
The charges got dropped. So, good thing that boy didn't go to jail. You know, that's a tough situation. A very tough situation to put your son in. It reminds me of that Curtis Rudolph situation where that girl called her brother to go smoke that guy. And you remember that we covered?
Yeah, listen, in this case, I'll tell you what, I think that the kid being 14 years old, and he was put obviously in that situation by his mom. So I understand his situation, but I believe that the mother should have been punished one way or another. Yes, you know, a situation happened, but it seems like she escalated the situation because she knew she had a gun.
Even wasn't Nicki Minaj commented that, look at that, they got out. All charges were dropped. I'm happy for the boy that charges got dropped. But unfortunately, that death is going to be his mind. You know what I mean? And the mother, yeah, it was very irresponsible of her, doing all of that with her son in the car.
Exactly. You know, this is, look, to me, it's a very, very sad situation when two strangers who are coming together in a place to buy food can end up in an argument where somebody loses their life. Like, that is beyond crazy, because when you think about gang violence, okay, this guy is a blood, this guy's a crip, they're shooting each other, they're enemies. These are two strangers that were just going somewhere to buy food. And look what happened. So obviously, the problem here was that somebody had a gun. That's all it was.
And going out to buy food at 11 o'clock at night, you know, to a dangerous neighborhood, like, you know your neighborhood. You know where you live at. Like, I lived in bad neighborhood, and I know where I'm at. I know where I'm going. So for her to be so confident in herself, I guess the gun gave her confidence to go out. And look what happened.
I'm telling you, I honestly feel like if she didn't have that gun, she wouldn't behave that way. You know, when, you know, arguing with a man who's obviously much bigger and stronger than she is. You know, I think that the gun fueled that fire in her to confront that guy that way. I mean, if you think about it, you can hear the guy say, if you say one more word, I'm going to punch you, or something along those lines. And listen, 9 times out of 10, a woman hears that from a stranger in those circumstances, she's gonna shut up. But she had a gun, and obviously she didn't shut up.
I think it would be normal. You know what? I have to agree with you, Jay. She should have just been quiet and walked away. Being responsible, knowing that I have a gun that could harm somebody, I would just walk away.
And listen, if you agree that men should never touch women, then you should also agree that women should never confront men in a violent manner where situations can get violent. Never. Back down. Women should, if things are escalating to where, that voice is catching that bass and there's that huffing and puffing and threatening, women need to back down 100% of the time. That's a fact.
Seriously, because there is a difference between men and women. And that young lady, that gun gave her the power to continue that argument with that man. And we can't do that. And I guess she didn't have a husband to call, to go, you know what I mean, to deal with that. Because again, that's a man on man situation.
But listen, it's not even about that, because now you're gonna bring problems to your husband. Now you're gonna have your husband murder somebody or get into a fight over you arguing with some motherfucker, in a food place. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, right now, this woman behaving the way she did led to her son killing somebody. Her son is gonna have to live the rest of his life knowing that he killed somebody. We don't know how is this going to affect him going forward, because I guarantee you he's going to have some type of psychological effect, good or bad.
But you watching, we're still sticking around for this long. Go ahead and write down your comment. What do you think is the appropriate thing to do? And should anybody been charged? A man died. That's sad. What he did was wrong. It is what it is. But a life was lost. So that's a tough situation. Write down your comment, and thank you for sticking around, listening for this long. And please subscribe.
Yeah, exactly. If you haven't subscribed, guys, subscribe to the channel, because we're going to be giving you that fire content. And remember, guys, like these videos, man. When you like these videos, it helps us out a lot.
All right. And again, we will always bring you news. That was a crazy news story that's all over the country. How Chicago is crazy. But I'm glad that boy doesn't have to spend one more day in jail. Because, he's 14 years old. Come on now. But the lady, she's an adult. Hopefully she learned from this.
I agree with you. I don't like to agree with you. I usually don't agree with you. But in this case, I agree with you. I guess the only thing I could say right now is fuck Nate, no filter. But that lady, I think she should have been punished. As far as the 14-year-old, if I put myself in his shoes, I would have done probably exactly the same thing he did, and you probably would have did the same thing as well. So I'm glad that he doesn't have to, get convicted and go to jail for a lengthy sentence.
Yeah, man, that's mom. Gotta protect mom. You know what I mean? Gotta go out there and take care of any problems. With that, I'm gonna say peace out. See you guys on the next episode. Again, keep watching, all right?
This is Verbal on Life, baby. Here we go again.
Damn, man, this motherfucker cut me off. We out of here. Thank you, subscribers. Get the fuck out of here.
Peace.
Fuck that shit.